Andrew, for somebody who's never been to Kyle Field, especially at night, I've been to A&M once, but that was for a baseball regional. So I got a just a sliver. The place was packed, but it was a baseball stadium, so whatever that seats, with the,
Yeah.
the train in the background, and the site was beautiful, and it was a great scene for college baseball. But to transfer that to football, so I've never seen it in person. For anybody that hasn't, can you give us some kind of there's always a debate over which venue, whether it's Happy Valley or Death Valley or A&M or best venues, and who can really bring it. If you can give us kind of a flavor of what it's like at A&M when it's really rocking.
Yeah, so I think, well, for one, they don't sit down the entire game. That place is rocking, and there's 107,000 in there regardless of who's playing. I mean, they'll get 100,000 in there regardless of opponent, regardless of Power Five. They really fill that place up. They live for Saturdays, and frankly, it starts Friday night as well. Before, I know one of the things that uh, they kind of did recruiting wise last year was bring kids in for midnight yell, where fans are loading in for midnight yell at 12 o'clock to practice, cheers for the next day, and have 30 minutes. I mean, I don't have another fan base that is there at midnight doing midnight yell practice the night before a home game. I mean, that's just the passion and excitement around that program. And so it's one of those things that they just are into the game the entire time. Like there is no having to get A&M fans into a game. They are into it. They are ready to make noise. You got the cannon going and all that. It's just a pretty incredible atmosphere when you think about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anybody else with questions or comments there in the chat? We got Andrew for a couple more minutes. If there's anything else out there, I always love getting player profiles. So I'm going to throw one more at you here.
Yeah.
We'll grab the 23 class, and you went over these guys, but since there's only 5 hard commits, I'm going to read them all off. You grab whoever you want to talk about, highlight, whether that's 1, 2, 5, whatever. So you got the cornerback, Bravion Rogers, number 7 at his position. You got Javon Thomas, the other corner, ranked right behind him. Johnny Bowens, defensive lineman, 35th rated at his position out of Texas. And 2 more Texas guys, and Colton Thomason, offensive tackle, and Tyler White, the punter.
Yeah, so I'll roll through all of them. Um, Beginning with Colton Thomas, and I think he's got a tremendous story. A guy that's really reshaped his body, and worked incredibly hard. He's been committed to A&M now for close to a year. He took his official visit this weekend, and I think kind of an important development actually with when it comes to him. He's he's picking up playing tackle now. He's obviously got the tackle body at 6'8", 325 pounds, kind of your prototypical offensive tackle. And if there's one trend that's kind of emerged in high school football and in college recruiting, it's getting harder and harder to find offensive tackle bodies. Those 6'7", 6'6", 6'8" guys, like it's just getting harder to find them. And so for A&M to have a guy on board that they can develop and work with is big because they really need offensive tackles. They've got a ton of interior guys, but I think a true tackle or a guy with that length and size that they're able to work with is a huge development. He's a he's about as locked in as it gets. Is really doing all he can to help recruit for A&M, and so and just a really good kid too. And then Johnny Bowens, he announced his commitment on Christmas. Really athletic defensive lineman, can kind of play inside and out. Kind of the same sort of the prototypical defensive lineman that A&M is looking for, that they can kind of maneuver around. And um, really, really good player. Probably a little underrated out of Converse Judson, which produced DeMarvin Leal. I think A&M would love to have anything close to DeMarvin Leal production out of him. So just a really good player. And then Javon Thomas is a guy that was not able to play for the first part of his junior year, but came back shortly before the playoffs. And super dynamic cornerback that can play, that they've mentioned being able to return punts, return kicks. He played some running back as well in high school. Bravion Rogers is a little bit the same way as well. And a guy they've actually discussed a little bit of maybe playing a little bit of wide receiver. We'll see how that goes. Right now, he's being recruited as a cornerback, and I think that's where he wants to play. Number 7 cornerback in the country, and so they kind of got their secondary class kicked off in April with those two guys on April 12th and 13th. Back-to-back days, kind of got a great start to the secondary class, and then Tyler White is a baseball player as well, pitcher, and a really good punter, out of one of the top punters out of South Lake Carroll, which is a big school here in Texas. And so, kind of a good start to the class. They're looking to build more over the next month or so, and this month will be huge when it comes to kind of putting the class together. And one of the big question marks is just what they're going to do at offensive line, at receivers, another big question. And so I think you'll see that group continue to grow